All right, welcome back to this slice. We are in Rome, and the quarterfinals are almost set. There's one match left to go due to some rain issues, but we've got some juicy matchups. We've got Jack Draper versus Carlitos Alcaraz rematch from their match in Indian Wells. Obviously, two of the best players of 2025 so far, and it's going to be really interesting to see how Jack Draper has now, where he's going to match up against Carlos as now a top 5 or 10 player and having a bit more weight on his shoulders of expectations maybe in this match than he did at Indian Wells, which he ended up winning. So we're going to break down that matchup, the other matchups like Musetti Zverev in these quarterfinals in Rome, and we're going to get stuck into it because that's what we do. Welcome to the Slice presented by Betway. Let's get going. All right, how we doing? We are back. Sinner is back. He's back in black, and I love that colorway of him coming back to Rome in all black. I have to think that that is calculated potentially for that AC/DC song to be played. He said when asked about the colors of his outfit, he said that he always likes to play in the monochrome kind of matching outfits in Rome. I don't think he gave a reason why, but Jannik Sinner's back. The number one player in the world is back in the ATP Tour, and I think that's an objectively good thing. So hopefully we can put that period behind us. No one took over his spot, and that's crazy to me. But we talked on the podcast, JP and I, about some of the things Sinner said before the tournament, and we've had some fun with the commenters talking about, is he petty? What did he say about who was he calling out when he said, I didn't receive messages from some players I thought I would, et cetera, et cetera. There was news that him and Jack Draper, who are good friends, practiced while he was off. Maybe that's why Jack Draper has been playing so well in his absence. There's a lot to get into, and we've done it on the podcast. So if you don't listen to the podcast, the Slice Tennis Podcast, listen on Apple Music or Spotify, wherever you get podcasts. JP and I are there chopping it up. But here in Rome, we've got quarterfinals. We've got Sinner versus TBA, the winner of Munar and Rude. And then we've got Hubert Hurkacz. I'll throw this up on the screen. Versus Tommy Paul after Hurkacz beat Mensik in a very close one, 7-6, 4-6, 7-6. Tommy Paul came through Alex de Minaur with the little upset there. Great tournament for Tommy Paul. And then Jack Draper versus Carlos Alcaraz is the match. Draper comes through the battle of the lefties over Carente Mute, and Alcaraz beats Khachanov in 3 sets this time. Musetti beats Medvedev in 2, and Zverev beats Fils in 2, that's a good win for Zverev, I think. So the quarterfinals, we got Musetti, Zverev, Draper, Alcaraz, Hurkacz, Paul, and Sinner versus probably Casper Ruud. So those are pretty good quarterfinal matchups, in my opinion. I would say heavyweight. You'll love to see it. So let's start with Alcaraz, Draper. Now, if you're new here, thanks for being here. This is The Slice. Smash the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 21,000 subscribers by the end of the French Open. So you can help that. It also is scientifically proven to help your tennis game. So we appreciate that. And also, we appreciate Betway. They're our sponsor, and they have the odds for Draper Alcaraz as Draper as the underdog at plus 200 and Alcaraz as the favorite at minus 264. So they've obviously got the respect factor there for Draper. And obviously they played earlier this year in Indian Wells, and that went the way of the Drape. So let's look at their head-to-head here, because that's not the only win that Draper's got over Alcaraz. Right now, Alcaraz has the head-to-head at 3-2, but Jack's actually won 2 of their last 3 matches. Indian Wells this year, Alcaraz retired against Alcaraz at the Australian Open, and then Draper beat him in 2024 at Queens, 7-6, 6-3 on a quicker court on grass. Jack's scary, so that makes sense. But this is going to be an interesting match. It's going to be, I think, a big battle on the serve return on how accurate Alcaraz's serve is. If he's not finding his spots in the big moments, Jack likes to take cracks at the ball. And that Jack is capable of doing that and serving almost untouchably himself. So there's that. Once you get into the rallies, I really think on clay, the movement key or the movement aspect for Alcaraz is a couple levels above where Draper's at on clay, and where we saw Draper do well in Madrid. He didn't play Alcaraz, and Alcaraz really is, barring that he's not, hasn't picked up any nagging injury after pulling out of Madrid, he should be physically fine, and I think he's going to show Draper like a level that he's kind of not used to. Similar to what we saw against Ruud. Ruud was able to pull out that win in the final of Madrid against Draper, and that's a clay court specialist. You could say obviously way more experience on the clay than Draper, and he's able to find moments in the match to play better and maybe just be more confident with his footing. But obviously, Jack's been on a great run this year. Won Indian Wells, final of Madrid on the clay, so he knows how to play. And Alcaraz is going to have to be on his game to win. They talk the Alcaraz Netflix documentary, which I have not watched yet, but they talk about how Alcaraz has to be his way. Like he can't be a machine on the tour with practices, with matches, with tournaments back to back to back to back. He has to go blow off steam, have fun, come back, and you see him do that in matches. And and throughout periods of his career, he's done that to kind of a more detrimental extent. So we'll see how focused he is in this match here against Draper, who's going to be the biggest threat he's faced so far. But I'm expecting a great match. I'm hoping for a great match, but I am expecting Alcaraz to win because it's on the clay and because, in general, he's the better player. But, and I think Jack's played a lot of tennis. That's the other thing. Alcaraz is used to going deep into tournaments every tournament he plays. Jack isn't throughout his career. So Jack's played a ton of tennis. I think that could play into it as well. Let me know what you guys think, though, in the comments below. As always, we'll see who gets to add to their head-to-head rank there between these two guys. Musetti Zverev. I thought this one was interesting as well. Musetti actually with the 2-1 head-to-head record, and the last two matches they played, Vienna Indoor Hard and the Paris Olympics last summer on clay, Lorenzo was able to get Zverev. So is that surprising? I don't know. Their form so far this year on the clay definitely favors Musetti. That's like objective. Musetti's made the final of Monte Carlo, the semifinal in Madrid, and he's here looking good, looking like he has a lot more confidence and swagger and variety on the clay than Zverev does. Zverev's a machine. He can hit big through these courts. He can play big. He can serve big. But Musetti just seems he has more at his disposal as far as resources to find ways to problem solve out there. He's got more aspects to his game. He's the natural surface poet, and I think, that's going to give him an advantage. So I'm leaning Musetti versus Zverev tomorrow or whenever they play. So I'm leaning a Musetti upset over Zverev, 8 seed over the 2 seed, and picking Alcaraz to meet Musetti in the semifinals. That would be an amazing matchup again. Hurkacz versus Paul, interesting one for sure, because Tommy Paul is the far better mover, obviously. Hurkacz is down to 30. He's a 30th seed here. He's been in the top 10 before, so he's really been looking for form and seemingly has found it, made his way to the quarterfinals here in Rome. But Tommy Paul, the big serve from Hurkacz. Tommy Paul's got great hands. He's got great returning, great counterpunching, great all-court game. How much can he make Hurkacz move? Will he use the drop shot? How much will he do it? Move Hurkacz, get him in uncomfortable spots, but a lot's going to come down to how well Hurkacz serves and protects that serve. But I would lead Tommy Paul there, and I would hope, for his sake and for our friend of the show, Brad Stein, that they can get the win, get to a semifinal in Rome. That would be great for him. And then Sinner is going to play the winner of Munar and Casper Ruud, who still have to play. They have played 5 times, Casper Ruud winning 4 of them, including their last 2. They've actually played this year twice already. They played in Australia and Dallas. That's interesting, with Casper Ruud winning both. Munar is a great player, though, on clay especially, so I would lean Casper for sure. He just won Madrid. He's balling out. He's playing great tennis, so I would definitely lean him, but Munar is a tough opponent, and if there's a guy that you're going to feel pressure against and don't want to lose to, I feel like that might be Wame Munar. So Hopefully that doesn't get in Casper Ruud's head, but we'll have to wait and see. Champions got to show up week in, week out. Even if you just won a tournament, you got to come and back it up. This is the ATP Tour. So yeah, there's a preview and a breakdown of the quarterfinals in Rome. Let me know your thoughts down below as far as what you think about these matchups. Let me know what you think about my thoughts. Get around the podcast on audio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on our social media. We have been putting out clips. We are dialoguing with people on there. It's awesome. So thanks for being here. Thanks for being with the Slice, and we will see you next time here on the channel.